It's been a good week, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to return to Krotona, and want to also express appreciation to Chris as our group leader for his skillful... Oh, something for the equation.
Oh,
Yes, something for the equation.
So while Aneen's writing that, I'll continue with my thank yous. I'd like to thank my hairdresser. I'd like to thank Chris for his skillful shepherding of our group and the entire group, really, for open-hearted, deeply engaged process of being together. I'm not real big on small group breakout sessions, but it worked beautifully this week, and I'm appreciative of that. So our group has been involved in a twofold process, I would say. There's the story process that Chris described, and on the second day of our coming together, he sort of, at least for a brief period, threw that out and said what we really wanted to do was to go into the eternal verities, the list of 19 truths that was handed out that day, and see which truths spoke to us. And what really came out strongly for me in looking at those 19 or however many there were eternal truths is the primacy of experience. Regardless of what eternal truth we are enamored of or attracted to, experience is the Ariadne's thread, if you will, that weaves its way through our long pilgrimage and lays our path in walking, as Spanish poet Antonio Machado once wrote. Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Wanderer or path walker, there is no path. You make the path in walking. And the story aspect really brought out an opportunity for me to engage in some self-reflection, particularly vis-a-vis theosophy and the Theosophical Society and my experience of that. I'm in a place now where I'm gradually becoming re-involved in the society after a couple of years of relative detachment, which followed upon more than 15 years of fairly deep involvement. 4 years on the board of the Seattle Lodge, including a couple as president. Living and working, eating and breathing as managers of Lile for 11 plus years with my wife Leonie, which coincided with 6 years on the national board as a Western District representative. That's one reason it's been so wonderful to be here this week, the opportunity to reconnect with old friends that I haven't seen in a while. And at the same time, I'm aware of feeling a little bit like an outsider and of holding what seems like an outsider's perspective. This break from the action lends a certain level of detachment to my perspective, I think. Of it, but not in it, if I can put a little twist on that well-used phrase that we call upon in the Theosophical tradition. So this is the unique set of circumstances that I embody, or at least I tell myself that I embody as a participant in this gathering. And how does this story and this self-perception help to inform the process we're engaged in this week? One observation from this somewhat detached perspective is that the Theosophical Society can be seen as a portal, one of many that offers a path to deeper understanding of the meaning and purpose of life. While what we call theosophy may be the living essence of truth, the Theosophical Society has no corner on its promulgation. As a living stream of wisdom, theosophy, the perennial wisdom, invites us, wants us to drink from its waters. Yet it will not be dammed, nor channeled, nor tamed, nor subdued in any way. It does not need our tending and will flow along the lines that best suit its purposes. As a living stream of wisdom, theosophy won't abide our encrusted conceptualizations, and it will eventually, slowly but surely, wash them away. Why go through the suffering that entails? Let's ask ourselves, honestly, as we've been doing this week, what are these encrusted conceptualizations we hold? What are the stories, the thought forms that we hold individually and as an organization that stand in the way of truth? Conceptualization gets in the way of true experience. We think something is a certain way, and that story of how things are inevitably skews our perception of reality. This is why the wisdom tradition teaches us to let go of our preconceptions. No matter our powers of imagination, the goal is unlikely to be exactly what we conceive it to be. Only when we actually experience something can we know what it is and how it feels. It's like riding a bicycle or swimming. It's one thing to have an intellectual grasp. It's entirely another to have the understanding that comes with direct experience. To shift metaphors, the wisdom tradition is only accessible via the steep and thorny path of accumulated experience that each of us walks in our own unique and unfolding karma-tempered way. In other words, experience is the path to embodying the ideas and truths of theosophy. For theosophy to be relevant, it has to relate to human experience, what it is that we experience as human beings. The tradition teaches that the pilgrim monad experiences through the vehicle that it inhabits. As humans, we accumulate experience through the vehicle of our physical body, which in this incarnation is also the container or vessel through which we express all the levels of our being. To the degree that we are able to be fully human, to be fully incarnate, we are able to fully experience. In order to get it, we have to experience it. We have to get it into our hearts, which engenders love, into our heads, which engenders wisdom, and into our gut, which is where the truth resides, into our body and our experience of being in the world. We, each of us as individuals, being mutually supportive, have to walk the path. There's a tendency in a week like this to feel compelled to come up with answers. But it seems to me that the answers we're looking for aren't to be found in the right business plan, the right internet presence, the right way of appealing to the young folk or whatever. Certainly if the answer lay along these lines, the generally admirable and certainly untiring efforts of our current administration would be bearing fruit. But, dare I say it, membership continues to stagnate and decline. And this suggests to me that the true answer lies elsewhere. I don't know if it's because of I know it's a little bit because of this lamp, but it's also, I think, because of the passage from one moon to another. But throughout the week I've been reminded of the story of Nasruddin, the wise fool of the Sufis, and the losing of his keys. And he's at night looking for his keys, and the neighbors have started to gather around and help him find his keys, and he's looking around under the lamp. And after some time of doing this, one of the neighbors says, "Tell us again, Nasruddin, how you lost your keys. Perhaps that will help us find them." And Nasruddin says, "Well, I was coming around that dark corner down there, and I put my hand in my pocket and pulled my keys out so I'd be ready to open the door to my home, and I dropped them." "Well, Nasruddin, why are you looking for the keys here under the lamp?" "Well, there's much more light over here than there is over there in that dark corner." And it just seemed perfectly fitting to me in a way. A couple nights ago when Chris and Dan were kind of going through the techno spiel with us, that somebody, I think maybe it was David Bland, asked Chris to turn off the light because he wanted to be able to see better. And maybe that's what we need to do, is turn off the light. Maybe with luck we'll find there, as it says in the stanzas, stanza 3, page 28, 29, volume 1 of the Secret Doctrine, for those who want citations. "The germ that dwelleth in darkness, the darkness that breathes over the slumbering waters of life, this darkness radiates light, and light drops one solitary ray into the mother deep. Then darkness vanished and was no more. It disappeared in its own essence, the body of fire and water." Joy has set a great example for us this week by sharing with us her willingness to continue asking the fundamental questions. With this in mind, I hope those of us who have the luxury to do so will continue to live with these questions as we leave here and return to wherever it is we return to. And in living deeply into these questions, the answer or answers we're all seeking may eventually arise. And after all, in the vast scales of Manvantaric time, what's the big hurry?